Released results from a survey about animal cruelty and cockfighting. Plus, former police officer Mark Torrey Jr. back in court, and the $6.1 million contract to purchase Akshan Hotel has been canceled. Hafade, happy holidays and good evening, friends. I'm Jason Salas, and these are tonight's top stories. Well, an off-island political action committee against animal cruelty is making its presence known as a federal ban on cockfighting in the territories looms large. Chris Barnett has tonight's lead story.
They're offering rewards, encouraging people to snitch on anyone who's cockfighting on Guam after December 20th. That's when a federal ban on cockfighting in the American territory starts. And today, they released a survey saying 60% of residents on Guam oppose cockfighting, and 60% of those residents also support a federal ban on rooster fighting. They've also hired a local advertising agency to handle their media work. Who are they? They are the Animal Wellness Action, a Washington, D.C. based political action committee founded by Wayne Pacelle, a former head of the Humane Society of the United States. According to the New York Times, Pacelle resigned as head of the Humane Society after allegations of sexual harassment and assault were raised against him. The Washington Post also reported that Pacelle was accused of allegedly kissing a former employee against her will. Another former employee said he asked to masturbate in front of her and offered to perform oral sex on her. Pacelle denied the allegations. Fast forward to today, his stateside PAC is offering $2,500 rewards to locals for any individual who provides critical information that results in a successful federal conviction for anyone who violates federal animal fighting laws. In a release, the PAC said this rewards program is concentrated on the U.S. territories, where the Fed ban goes into effect next Friday. The ban blitz has many local cockfighters bitter about the feds making laws that we have no say in. Walter Sternagle is a longtime cocker.
Well, it's really going to hurt us cockfighters because, I don't know why the federal government has to interfere with our culture and stuff. Look at the Indians, they can have casinos and stuff, whatever they want, but why not us Chamorros have our cockfighting? That's our culture. I don't see any of their business in it.
Local cockfighters wondering how the federal government will enforce the ban, especially since Guam law now says enforcing that ban shall be the lowest priority. KUAM confirmed that Pacelle has made attempts to speak with Governor Lulian Guerrero, but Adelup Policy Director Carlo Branch tells us there has been no change in the administration's stance, which is basically to ignore the federal law making fighting cocks a crime. Sternagle, like many other local cockers, says the feds should prioritize because they have a lot on their plate.
I really wonder why they're so worried about cockfighting when there's a lot of other things they should worry about, other crimes and stuff that should take priority. And I just wonder why they're spending so much to catch us cockfighters. It's our culture. Leave us alone.
According to the farm bill that contains the cocking ban, fines of up to $250,000 and the seizures of cash and property are possible penalties for illegal cockfighters. We stopped by this chicken feed store in Jotnya, and the workers told us they've already begun taking cockfighting-related items off the shelves in anticipation of the ban. Meanwhile, Animal Wellness Action's survey results say 90% of those surveyed believe Guam's animal cruelty laws should be strengthened. The people of Guam don't support staged fights between animals. They are appalled by the idea that people attach knives to the roosters' legs and watch them hack each other to death. Those words from Pacelle in a press release. For Guam's News Network, Chris Barnett reports.
Also tonight, a family from the southern village of Maritzo is devastated after the loss of 2 of their family members. And Chris joins us again, reporting that the family believes the victims were poisoned.
It's horrible. It's horrible. I mean, I feel helpless. I can't fix it.
Doctor of Veterinary Medicine Lisa Silk is talking about baby girl and Luna. They were brought in by their owner last week.
They were nonstop seizuring, and apparently they had started vomiting a few days before and not wanting to eat.
Dr. Silk says they had to stabilize and then sedate the dogs to stop the seizures. She then conducted tests and her suspicions had been confirmed.
So I was pretty sure they probably had been poisoned because it was both of them and then another one at home that was having some issues. So we got the vomiting to stop, and then run urinalysis and blood work, and it showed that they most certainly had been poisoned with antifreeze.
According to Dr. Silk, it was too late to treat the pets, and the owner, Kathy Champako, made the decision to stop their suffering.
The owners are devastated, and I can't help them. We do the best we can, but your dogs have been poisoned. I mean, there's a whole, besides losing your treasured pet, somebody did this on purpose.
According to Champako, she filed a report with police. As for Molesto Mayor Ernest Chargaloff, he's looking into the situation to determine if there are more victims.
If it's an isolated issue, then I can see that it's a random issue. But if it becomes rampant, then I think more or less the public should be engaged to seek information as to who's doing it.
The mayor says he will not tolerate animal cruelty.
The dog's not bothering you. Why should you try to poison the dog? The dog is a dog that is being loved by the pet owners. How would you like it if somebody were to poison your dog that you're so attached to?
Has ordered that parties on both sides of the argument have a finalized witness list by next week. In the second trial of Mark Torrey Jr.'s case, the government tells the court that they plan to have over 80 potential witnesses. Defense counsel Jay Arreola says that in discussions with Chief Prosecuting Attorney Basil O'Malley, the government did confirm they will not be calling Dr. Donovan, which the defense has a standing objection over.
The government will not be calling Dr. Donovan as a witness. And so that alleviates the need to have any motions regarding his testimony. The government has also indicated they will be narrowing down their witness list shortly so that we can confirm that there was no other motions regarding any of their witnesses. I did review their witness list. There are a couple of new witnesses, in particular expert witnesses, that we have received no reports or no information from them.
Further, Attorney Arreola went on to read names of witnesses they object over and told the court he has provided O'Malley with a revised questionnaire for jury selections. O'Malley says he has some objections of his own to some of the questions, yet the court said before moving forward, the completed witness list must be followed.
On the 19th at 10 a.m. Thank you. And we'll have people. If you're going to put experts on the witness list, so designate them so that Mr. Arreola can then bring his motions to strike them because he hasn't received this or hasn't received that, and then we can go to the next step. But it's hard to keep talking about what potentially may be filed and what potentially may be objected to and what potentially is being offered until we lock down what you guys are going to do.
In the amended indictment, Torrey is charged with negligent homicide and aggravated assault for the 2015 fatal shooting of fellow police officer Albert Piolo. A return was scheduled for the 19th of this month. Staying in court, Brandon Acosta has entered a plea agreement in his burglary and drug case. Before Judge Anita Socola today, Acosta pled guilty to a pair of counts of burglary as a second-degree felony and drug possession as a third-degree felony. He waived $5,000 worth of fines and will serve 5 years, except 2 years that was suspended with credit for time served. Acosta told the court he's been incarcerated since his June 2018 arrest, with his agreement including another one of his local cases that charges him with family violence. However, the judge completely struck any matter dealing with that case because it's an offense in relation to another local case that is heading to trial. Acosta is accused of the rape and murder of 15-year-old Tamika Nauta. Socola told both parties, and I quote, "I'm not saying you guys are being sneaky about this, but look, the record shows." A restitution hearing was scheduled for January the 15th. Elsewhere, facing 40 counts of felony bank fraud charges, Teresa Pereira has pled not guilty. During her arraignment before Magistrate Judge Joaquin Manabusan, she waived the reading of her indictment, which remains under seal. Although in another federal case, the defendant faces count 1 for the same offense. During her initial appearance on a complaint hearing in that case, Pereira's attorney requested for a third-party custodian. Yet probation recommended she remain in custody as he proposed TPC as a potential victim and does not meet the requirements. The defendant remains detained with trial set for February the 18th. Well, the Archdiocese of Agana's $6.1 million deal to sell the Redemptorist Mater Seminary in Jotnia to the U.S.-based B-Side Partners is now off the table. In a notice filed in federal court today, it states the contract was canceled because the buyer is unwilling to close the purchase. The Archdiocese, however, has informed the court that it has secured a new offer to purchase the former Hotel Action property, which it plans to notify the court about shortly. B-Side's $100,000 deposit is non-refundable, with the proceeds from the properties supposed to be set aside in a fund to pay out settlements in the more than 200 sex abuse claims that have been filed against the church and against former priests. In other island news headlines tonight, add customs and quarantine to the list of the key agencies like the police and corrections agencies that are suffering from a critical shortage in personnel. That agency that mans the front lines in the battle against drug trafficking has seen its manpower cut by half from the highest levels 20 years ago. Our next report is with Nestor Lecanto.
Back in 2000, there were, I would say, between 190 to 200 officers. To date, there's a total of 101 officers manning our ports. And I admit that is a very low figure for us to be manning our ports of entry. We have 41 officers operating at the airport 24/7. You divide that by 3, we have an average of probably 12 or 13 officers. That's how short we are at.
Customs Director Ike Pareto says ideally he needs 26 or 28 per shift, but they've been losing them mostly to the federal government. Most recently, a total of 34 officers have left for better pay and promotion opportunities.
I don't blame them. An officer who is properly trained, certified by post here upon graduation within 5 years, he can apply and go to CBP and start as a GS9. You can't compete with that.
The most severe shortage is with the K9 units. They used to have as many as 12 teams. Currently, they have just 4.
And the 4 is divided into the operations. The airport, of course, is 24/7. The port is another section, and to include cargo. So yes, I admit that we need additional K9 drug detector dogs to effectively operate at our borders.
He's hoping to add a minimum of 6 more K9 teams to sniff out the drugs that he believes are at the root of many of the island's problems. But he needs money.
One of the first things that I mentioned to the governor is that in order for us to increase our manpower, we need to increase our fees, because that's where we generate our revenue.
He's proposing to raise fees at the airport by $3.50 per passenger to boost the current budget from $11 million to about $16 or $17. The money will go primarily to beefing up officer salaries.
I've talked to officers who have been in the force for over 10 years, and they're still officer ones. I'm making it a point to ensure that I secure funding so that I can promote some of these officers to maintain them, because otherwise they're moving.
The agency will see some relief come January, when Pareto says some 23 new recruits will hit the line for training at the airport. For Guam's News Network, I'm Nestor Lecanto.
And let's tackle news with the Department of Corrections now, as that agency's acting director, Frank Ishizaki, may be scrapping plans to convert the downtown police precinct into a prison processing center. With his third story of the night is our Chris Barnett.
Department of Corrections Director Frank Ishizaki says plans to convert the Agotnia Police Precinct to a DOC intake and processing center after cops moved to the new Sinania Police Station are still being looked at.
We're still assessing it. So I've got my crew, my managers, making assessments and recommendations.
So that's not set in stone then?
Not necessarily. There are pluses and minuses, and we got to look at all of those pluses and minuses before we execute.
Agotnia Revitalization Authority head Lacia Casil has said she's opposed to plans that involve the conversion of the Agotnia precinct into a prison parole and processing center. Casil said the master plan for the island's capital says a new GovGuam administration building will be built where the Agotnia precinct currently sits. Ishizaki, meanwhile, says the Guam Police Department's pending move to Sinania is both a problem and solution for the prison's potential plans.
The GPD is moving. So the GPD booking area in Agotnia is going to be moving to Sinahanya for the new precinct, and that's going to happen very soon. And then, for us, is what are we going to do from our end when we receive that inmate? So, some years ago, we used to have it here by our ladies' facility, and then it was moved down to Agotnia. And at the time, it probably made sense for the present. It probably doesn't make sense anymore because GPD is moving.
Ishizaki wouldn't completely rule out using the old Agotnia precinct for DOC operations, and some construction has already begun there, but he did say that Agotnia may not even happen because when GPD moves, it will create redundancies for DOC.
We don't want to transport the detainee twice. So So we're looking at, we're not sure what we're going to do, but one of them is to move that hub, that DOC hub for in-processing, back up to Manila. So we're not finalized on that, but it feels like that's what's going to happen.
For Guam's News Network, Chris Barnett reports.
Thanks so much, Chris. Good job on those stories. Well, please stay tuned. Primetime continues right after this.
Get up-to-the-minute news, plus access to alerts, streaming radio, promotions, and more on your mobile device by downloading the KUAM News mobile app, available at the App Store now.
Sanctuary exists to improve the quality of life for Guam's youth experiencing family conflict in an effort to preserve family unity. Our services include 24-hour crisis intervention, temporary safe refuge, counseling, and prevention programs. The reality is, Guam as we know it has changed. The family unit as we know it has changed. Now is the time for us to step in and help youth and families help themselves. Support the magic of giving.
Half the day, I'm in the club.
Half a day, welcome to Two Lovers Point.
Half a day, I'm in the club.
At the mall, as you enjoy your shopping, dining, or entertainment, you could also win 3 great cars from Atkins Kroll and thousands of prizes in Micronesia Mall's Cars, Prizes, and Getaways game. Present your mall receipts and have a chance to win the renowned performance Chevrolet Camaro, the unapologetic rugged Toyota 4Runner, or the head-turning Lexus ES350 Luxury. Getaways to Manila, courtesy of Philippine Airlines, plus prizes from Foot Locker and Burger King. The more you shop, the more chance to win in Micronesia Mall's Cars, Prizes, and Getaways game.
It's a special delivery to your inbox every week with your KUAM News Roundup, program advisories, and promotions. Sign up for the weekly KUAM Digital Digest today on KUAM.com.
Welcome back, everybody. Mark Brown, the interim chairman of Imperial Pacific International, has resigned. Here's more.
Half a day, Guam. Here are the headlines for CNMI. The House of Representatives met yesterday. In a heated discussion was the request of a special committee to investigate allegations of public corruption, fraud, waste, and abuse of public funds by Governor Ralph Torres. KSPN reached out to Governor Torres today for comment on the matter, and he says he has nothing to hide.
There's obviously all my documentation. Anybody can get it. You can get it. Anybody can get it. There's nothing to hide. If they want to do an OJ on it, go ahead. If they have questions on the expenditure, please feel free. Got nothing to hide. So again, there is an investigation. There's nothing to hide there. But at the end of the day, I feel comfortable that you'll be cleared. So again, there's nothing to hide. If there's specific questions that they want, you can go ahead and ask.
The interim chairman for Imperial Pacific International, Mark Brown, has resigned. We speak with Executive Director for the Commonwealth Casino Commission, Edward De Leon Guerrero, for the details.
I received an email notification from Mr. Brown that he has resigned effective immediately, and this was December 8th. He was also on that email thanking the Commission for the opportunity to have worked with him during his tenure as the interim chairman of IPI, CNMI.
And did he give a reason as to why he was resigning?
I'm not quite sure whether, I guess some of the issues surrounding the reasons, probably I should not discuss that at this time. Because we haven't really had a chance to sit down and discuss those issues and those matters with him. But some of his explanation was that when he came back as an acting interim chairman, not a CEO, and that his primary function was simply advisor to IPI.
De Leon Guerrero says this is a concern because there is no CEO for IPI that is living here on the island. In fact, at this moment, there is no CEO at all.
IPI should have a CEO on island that is responsible for every facet of the casino operations, inclusive of construction, marketing, finance, and everything having to do with IPI. And the Commission continues to hold that position, that as CEO, and whoever the future CEO may be, he or she must be responsible for all activities occurring IPI at CNMI.
De Leon Guerrero says the shareholders have stated they are in the process of appointing a temporary CEO.
Currently, as we speak, there are vice presidents, so there are key employees at the casino facility that are handling both the gaming operations, the security and surveillance. We have a CFO on island that's handling all and managing all the finances. So it's our position that IPI is currently being properly managed by existing casino key employee who have been licensed by CCC.
For more news, visit saipantv.com. For KSPN2, I'm Ashley McDowell.
Let's get back to some Guam news headlines now, as it was just before 11 p.m. on the 7th when a man spotted 49-year-old Frank Gogri Regis allegedly snooping around his house in Ordet. Court documents say the victim confronted Regis, who then threatened to shoot him. Regis then walked across the street to the game room, where he was met by police minutes later. Regis had a knife in his back pocket. Also, he was seen putting something in his mouth, which he began to chew. He told police he just scored $40 worth of ice that was, quote, now in my stomach because I swallowed it. Police also found a pipe and baggings in his backpack, which tested presumptive positive for meth. Regis then said he didn't buy the drugs just because he delivers them. He was charged with attempted robbery, terrorizing, and drug possession. Well, police have arrested a man suspected of crashing into the Santa Maria and Canalan Park on Monday and fleeing the scene. 24-year-old Austin J. Sablan was charged with theft of property, unauthorized use of a vehicle, and leaving the scene of a property with damage. On the 9th, this day Santa Maria and Canalan was celebrated throughout Guam. Sablan was allegedly driving south in Maritzo when he lost control of his vehicle, crashing into and damaging parts of the park. Court documents state witnesses identified Sablan, who fled from the crash. The vehicle was a blue Nissan Pathfinder belonging to the man who lent it to his nephew, who then lent it to Sablan. Court documents further state the victim filed a complaint with police the day after the crash. The collision report amounted to more than $5,000. Sablan is also accused of filling his tank up at a gas station last month and leaving without paying. In education news, GDOE will initiate the second phase of the procurement for Sanchez High's reconstruction project tomorrow. The agency received authority to take the lead in handling the procurement for the reconstruction of the new GIGO campus last year after several protests contributed to the project's delays. The first phase of the procurement, land surveying services, was successfully awarded this past April and completed this summer. The second phase includes both art and engineering services. The anticipated deadline for interested vendors to submit the proposals will be next year in January. Well, on Friday the 6th, Johnny Cepeda Gogo was sworn in as judge of the Santa Clara County Superior Court, with friends, family, and court staff and well-wishers all coming to see the new judge don the robe for the first time as he joined the Superior Court bench. More recently, Judge Gogo served for nearly 2 decades as Deputy District Attorney in Santa Clara County District Attorney's Office. Before his tenure there, Judge Gogo was an associate at Calvo & Clark locally and assistant AG with the Office of the Attorney General. Judge Gogo earned his Juris Doctorate degree and graduated cum laude from the Thomas Jefferson School of Law. Well, in recognition of their 30th anniversary, a legislative resolution was presented to the nonprofit Guam Animals in Need. This afternoon at the Guam Congress Building, GAIN was recognized for their continued commitment to improving animal welfare, public health, and safety locally. The organization has over 1,000 people who volunteer annually, helping the hardworking staff who conduct outreach and education programs, advocate for improved animal laws and enforcement, foster animals into their home, and so much more. To date, GAIN has found new homes for over 12,000 animals from its shelter up in Jigo, and we congratulate our friends up north for the very fine work that they do. Well, please stay tuned. Sport is coming up next.
Agent Alpha. What's that? An Alpha Insurance customer needs a claim settled immediately? I'm on it. Agent Alpha.
In the event of an accident, theft, or breakdown, each of our Alpha Insure agents are trained to go above and beyond.
This is my stop. There she is. Target acquired.
Agent Alpha. Yes!
The Matson USO Rock and Run for Our Heroes is coming back to the Guam Museum, Skinner Plaza, on Saturday, December 14th. Check out our fast and easy registration online at guam.uso.org. We'll be rocking out with music throughout the course. Choose Bring Your Family and Friends and Rock and Run for Our Heroes on December 14th. Sign up today online at USO Tumon Bay and the Royal Orchid Hotel or at USO Anderson. Special thanks to title sponsor Matson and all supporters of our USO Rock and Run for Our Heroes 5K.
Holidays happening at Docomo Pacific's Red Friday. Purchase select phones on our popular Now program and choose a free gift, like free wireless earphones or huge discounts on the latest smartwatch. Prepaid friends get free load with select prepaid phones. And get a chance to win a Nintendo Switch when you take a selfie with our new AI dog, Spark. Come in for a happening holiday now. Docomo Pacific, better together. Some conditions apply.
KUAM Sports is presented by Triple J.
All right, welcome to sports. Andy Wheeler still sitting in for Dave Delgado, and tonight we're going to be talking football with the Guam Football Association, and it's not exactly the World Cup, but Ike brought in some hardware here, this beautiful trophy that was a high honor that you guys just received, and this is the Asian Football Confederation Member Association of the Year.
Yes, that's correct.
Pretty high honor. Tell us about it.
Oh, man, it's an exceptional honor. You know, Guam Football Association has been working real hard in representing Guam internationally in Asia, and with the staff, the board members, and the clubs, and supporting football in Guam. They all deserve it. Without them, we could not be where we are today.
Right, and this is a big honor, as we said, because of the work that the association has put in over the years, and it's grown, it's grown, it's grown. It's gotten more international recognition. And this Asian Football Confederation, it's not just one or two countries that are right next to us. I mean, we're talking all of Asia.
That's correct. You know, the AFC Confederation is made up as far of countries from UAE, Nepal, and all of the Pacific region, which starts with Guam and Northern Marianas, and everybody in between.
Yeah.
So we have a designation, and we're part of what we call the East region.
Right.
You know, and within the East region, this is how we were recognized for all our hard work as a little tiny nation, you know, that was able to receive the honor from the president of AFC and basically competing with all the other member associates of the Federation.
Yeah, with, you know, some of them hundreds of millions of people, you know, China, 1.5 billion people, and then we've got us 180,000 people.
Oh, you know, I mean, no comparison to demographics, but a great honor to be able to have received this award. And like I said, on behalf of our president, Tino Sangil, who would be here, but he's actually currently in Korea right now and handling a championship tournament that's in that region.
So they let you carry this around?
They let me carry around, and I mean, I'll tell you, when I was walking around to the office, it says, "Where are you going with that black box?" I says, "Over there."
Yeah, we want to show it off. This is not
Exactly.
something you want to put up on a shelf in the office. You want people to see this, that the work that the people of Guam, the association, have done, even from spectators going out and watching Macau play against Iran or these other teams. We all have a hand in an award like this.
We all do. You know, we are such a honorable organization in a little island, and when we can host these countries in our little island and for them to come. The last World Cup qualifier, you know, we've had several countries that have never been here. What moved us into round two is after we had a competition with Bhutan, and then we went into the next round, which put us up against other countries, and World Cup is not over yet.
No, it's ongoing.
Like it's ongoing.
You were saying before we came on that you guys are always in competition mode.
Always. And, you know, it's not only our men's Macau team, we also have our boys, our girls, and we have a national team program, you know, that recognizes those kids that are constantly training. They're in training, and the national program is a well-recognized opportunity for any child that can really grow and be inspired, but to take the opportunity to travel to countries they would never dream of.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know? And that's the big thing about to travel to countries that you never dreamed of, get that opportunity. You know, it's enlightening. You know, and to have Guam represented.
And to be on that international stage with that level of competition, because some of the teams that we're playing, they're not slouches. I mean, we get put into these groups, and we have seen our ranking rise and rise and rise because we're really showing people that, hey, look, we can play.
Yeah, that's it. And, you know, when we can be competitive with countries like China, you know, and our rounds that we're going through, and we have Maldives, we play against Syria, we have Philippines and China coming back up as for next year's events, and that will complete the round. So our men's Mattel team will go to Philippines in March, and then China will then come to Guam the end of March, and then our boys come right back from Philippines, and then we compete here in Guam. And then we're supposed to have one more country tournament, and that's Syria, if we could ever get them to come over to our region. If not, we'll go to a neutral territory to hold our event.
You know, with the athletes, it's constant, nonstop. They're playing here, and then they fly off, and just a few days later, they're playing in some country I've probably never heard of, but they're out there doing it. So you guys want to make sure they don't have to worry about anything except show up. This is kickoff time.
That's correct.
Right.
You know, and the nice thing about everything that's set up with our national program and our men's Mattel, everything is paid for. Everything is covered. You know, you just need to show up and train, be ready to play, and constantly, if you're out abroad in other countries or states and you're on playing with clubs and other organizations, we want to make sure that you're constantly on the ball.
Right.
Constantly on the ball, because practice never ends. That's the only way you get better at whatever you do.
Absolutely,
you know.
and sky's the limit. One thing we did want to mention real quick is you have another little program with kids that you're doing kickball.
Yes, and in fact, that just recently happened last weekend. We worked with the Guam Police Department with a initiative program that they were working. We became the host, and we were able to handle a total of 21 schools and over 300 some kids that were actually going through a competition elimination. And this coming Saturday will be the championship event. So 8 schools have moved up to the championship mode. Excellent. To basically earn the right of being a champion and defeating it and becoming the champion to compete for next year.
And you never know, one of those kids may be representing Guam on the international stage in the years to come.
That's correct. You know, and the other thing that I wanted to talk about is something that we most recently completed, and we're very proud of it in working with the Special Olympic Organization.
It's such a wonderful organization.
You know, the Special Olympic Organization, you know, we were able to initiate the soccer program with 4 weeks of training, and then basically hosting a jamboree event and making Guam Football Association open up to those organizations.
It's a great thing, all the events they do, and you guys are doing a fantastic job.
We're constantly working on things and showing the community. What was really inspiring for my first take in watching kids come to the kickball program, parents have never been to Guam Football Association. Kids come to the ground and they look at the AstroTurf and says, "Is that real grass? Yeah. You know, is this real grass?" You know, and then they turn around to talk to their principal and says, "Can we have the same thing at our school?" You know?
Right on. Yeah.
So hopefully we can generate interest and sustain our feeder programs with kids coming up at such a young age.
It's what you guys do, and we appreciate it. So make sure you follow them on social media, Guam Football Association. Ike, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having us and recognizing us. Thank you very much.
This holiday season, take a deal home at the Big Finish 2019 only at Cars Plus. Finish the year with the perfect gift under your Christmas tree. Take advantage of employee pricing on new Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram. Visit us at carsplusguam.com.
Guam's auto appearance specialist, Elegant Reflections, has been providing the automotive industry with professional detailing and car care products at its highest quality, from complete detailing, full interior detailing, exterior detailing, headlamp restoration, hand washing, seat and carpet shampoo, engine degreasing, undercarriage cleaning, paint sealant, fabric protection, paint oxidation removal, and so much more. Visit us at our new location. Call 646-5555 for an appointment. Elegant Reflections, Guam's auto appearance specialist, over 20 years of experience.
Here's tonight's birthday shoutouts. I hope you like to smile, and I hope you got your vocal cords ready because, say it with me now, everybody. Happy birthday to Ashton Michael Blas tonight. It is Ashton's 4th birthday, and he is getting love from Mom, Papa John, Mommy, Daddy, Sissy and Mari Joy, Aunt Nessa, Uncle Matt, and his brother Noah. They all say a resounding "we love you," and we hope you have a great 4th birthday. Also, happy birthday to Lila Reese McDonald Finonia, who has a birthday today. So, all of Lila Reese's friends, family, cousins, classmates, churchmates, everybody all over the world, hope she has a fantastic birthday. And we hope you had a fantastic birthday too if it's your birthday, and we hope to wish you a happy birthday the next time we do the birthday quote. We're out of time, everybody, but Sabrina went to Underwater World. You do not want to miss what's coming up next on In the Mix.